Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's KB5 MIQ Big Boy. Thought we'd just cover some random stuff here on Sunday afternoon, right quick. Uh, hit for Hey Ham Radio Cat. Here's the star of the show. Jumped up here right now. Hit 494. We almost 500, halfway to that magic 1,000 that supposedly YouTube might start paying me a little bit for these. I don't know. I'm not worried about that. As long as y'all like listen to me, I'm gonna try to keep putting these out. Been real lucky so far. I get a lot of good positive comments and emails, and I can count on one hand, less than the fingers of one hand, the negative comments I've had. So I really enjoyed putting these out. So we're gonna keep coming up with a few things for you along. Uh, Y'all keep Kilo Victor 5 SIX in your prayers. He's having some health issues right now. Real good POTA operator. Got a YouTube channel, Vern6. Y'all check him out and keep him in your thoughts and prayers right now. Hopefully he gets on the mend real quick. Um, let's see. I'm going to run into an issue I'm having and ask for some advice from y'all. Then I'm going to touch on a few things I just read on social media. Um, my thoughts on the term starter radio. I look at the same term entry level radio the same way. Um, your choice of radios, you need to make that decision yourself based on your budget, based on what you're wanting to operate on, and in depth you want to get into this hobby. Uh, ask for advice. That's great. Ask for advice. But if you're a tech and you're wanting to get on 10 meters, and hopefully you are, don't let anybody tell you don't need to buy a full up HF radio because you're not licensed to talk on the other bands. That's irregardless. If you're a licensed amateur radio operator, you're supposed to know the rules and you're supposed to operate within the limits of your license. Doesn't matter if your radio has bands you can't talk on. As long as you're using it in the area that you can talk, get what you want. That first 701 I had was used on 10 meters between 28.3 and 28.5 for years until it went out and I finally upgraded my license. So if you can get a full up HF rig, you get what you want. And if somebody tells you, "Ooh, that's a starter radio," just don't even listen to that guy anymore. You know, I hate the term starter entry level radio. You can spend a lot of money in this hobby getting in those type of radios. And I've always thought that if somebody goes and buys a 718, brand new, which is a good radio, WD5HKV's got one he uses a lot. He really likes it. And then somebody said, "Oh, that's just a starter radio. You need to upgrade to the 7300, sell that." Well, why would you tell that guy that? First off, it's not your shack. Second off, you don't know what the budget it is. If you like the 7300, run it. But don't get rid of a radio because somebody tells you just got a starter radio. And it's a good way to get people to get out of this hobby when they think, "Crap, I'm going to spend this much money on this radio and this ain't all I need." Nah, don't do that. That's not cool. Give them advice, show them what you've got, and make suggestions. But don't tell them you need to do this or you've bought a starter radio. That just drives me nuts. I know y'all hear me talk about it a lot, but it reminds me of when I bought my first rig at 701. One of the guys who tested me told me I needed to get a real radio. It's one with the VFO knob in the center. Mine was on the right and it didn't look like a real radio. No, that's don't listen to that kind of negativity. But anyway, getting to some issues I'm having. I've been running this 897D since I bought it new in '07. Uh, Run it with a G5RV and a AT897 tuner for years. And after I got retired, wanted to get into the hobby a little more than what I was. Went to changing antennas up, adding antennas, and I've already gone through one Hill Traveler boom mic at the push to talk just wore slap out. and Hill wanted about as much to repair it as I could just bought another one for. So I bought another one, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. My 1897 tuner went out, and LDG replaced it with a YT1000 tuner. I believe that's what that is. YT100 tuner, auto tuner. Well, in our round table at night, and I was talking with Cody and Jeff, and talking about how many times I had to repeat my call, especially with a foreign station. Of course, it could be this hick accent I got, but Cody had said it. He started recording, sending it back, and you could tell the difference in that heel mic, ProSet mic, and the standard mic. And I did have the gain turned down like you're supposed to, because I know the factory gain setting default is 50 on this 897D, and I've run it at about 12 to 14. And I could hear the difference in it. It had a little bit of a muffled, bassy tone to it. So I switched back to the desk hand mic, put everything back, and people seem to hear me better. Kind of having the same issue with this old 701. I don't have the factory mic on it. I've got an MFJ desk mic. It's supposed to fit a little bit of everything. And it sounds good. But I'm kind of having the same issue, and I'll get back to both of them in a minute. But I noticed I was having trying to get this 5BTV set up and going. I was having some tuning issues. Well, I just took the tuner out. I think it was part of my problem with that radio, because I've checked everything with Nano VNA and I'm not getting any kind of SWR warnings. But I had that ProSet back on it the other day, and I got to talking, and this was after I took the tuner off. And we figured out one night if I turned the processor on, it cleared it up real good. Well, I turned the processor on. Well, I got to talking on it, and it didn't. I'm looking at the meter, and it wasn't putting out as much power as it normally does. And the longer a QSO, the lower the power kind of got for some reason. And it wasn't giving me an SWR reading either. It wasn't giving me a high SWR reading. Cody noticed it. He said, "Man, you're kind of falling out at the end of your QSO, end of your time on the air." Well, let's try something. So I just pulled it off, reset it to 50, put the desk mic on, perfect. Stopped it. Hadn't had its full power out, hadn't done it since. Getting back to 701. I've worked Central South America with it, and I've hooked it up to a dummy load, and I'm using CW key and dead keyed it about 90 watts on every band. But I can't get it to show with an external meter or the onboard meter to show on PEP that it's putting out much over 25 watts. And I'm kind of wondering if the mics on both of them was an issue. I wish I could find me an older ICOM SM2A mic to borrow just to try it on the 701, see if that fixes it. That's kind of rambling, I know, but if anybody's got any input on a heel mic, ProSet heel boom mic used with 897D, let me know. And if anybody's had any issues with the YT100 tuner, let me know, because I've got them out and everything seems to be working pretty good. Of course, I've done some antenna maintenance and got my antennas all fairly resident where I want to use them at. And if anybody knows for an ICOM IC SM2 mic or 4-pin desk mic is worth the money, send me a link to that. I might be interested in buying one of them down the road. Well, that's about all I can ramble on today. Ham radio cats and got up here and went to sleep, so I got to go cook some supper for me and the wife on the grill. But remember our 10-meter round table, we still get on there Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Friday nights on 28450 at 7:30 Central Standard Time. Remember Main Trading Company, Paris, Texas. Good place for ham radio gear, good company. Was ham radio flea market trading post, ham radio and amateur radio Elmer's, Texas Ham Amateur Radio on Facebook. Your club pages, 4 States Amateur Radio, Shreveport Amateur Radio, Dallas Amateur Radio, Cowtown Amateur Radio, all good avenues Facebook information. I appreciate everybody who likes listening to me, and if you got any ideas for any videos, let me know. We're still working on a video for an end fed using a 1010 ballon, but we hadn't been able to work on it here lately. Thanks everybody who subscribed to the channel. It's KB5MIQ Big Boy 73.